Everyone, my name is Prachi Tsafikar and I'm the founder of Keva Education. In the live session, I'm going to invite Zorawar here once again to have a conversation with us. And I'll just wait for him to join in. So we have lots to chat about today, and I'm sure that it's going to be an interesting session. I hope you all can hear me now. Hi, Zorawar.
To the live session with slow internet.
I Yes, I think we're having a bad internet day. Um,
That's all right. That's all
so
right.
I think, but it's all right. All right. So let's get back to what we were talking about. I was just updating everyone with our conversation. And
Okay, super.
guys, thumbs up if you can hear Zorawar now, and let me know. So Zorawar, tell me, you were telling us about your journey. So why don't we
Uh,
start from the
yeah,
beginning?
yeah. So
Your
no
journey.
worries. Happily, we have all the time in the world. The pandemic is not fully over yet, so I'm in no rush. Uh, so I started by saying that, my domicile is Delhi. I did my schooling and college here. Uh,
Okay.
I did work in the city for 1 year and I was done uh,
Okay.
for whatever reasons at that age.
Right.
And I wanted to step out of the city.
Okay.
I looked at skydiving, rafting, kayaking, a lot of options. However, uh, some were just not inviting enough. Some were very capital intensive. Uh,
Right.
so, so I landed up with scuba diving as something in between that I could afford at the time. Was happening in my
Okay.
own country in Andaman. I didn't have to fly abroad for a course. Uh,
Absolutely.
and few things just, how good things happen in life. Few things just aligned, and I landed up on Havelock.
Okay.
So i- initially, I was there for a month to do my open water course and the advanced course,
Right.
and
Okay.
to chill. The
You were
primary
living there
objective
while you
was
were
to
doing the
chill.
course.
Yes,
So
yes. I
after you
was I
finished
was
your open water, okay, you got stationed there. Great.
well, I had done a 1 month of booking with Dive India, and Dive India is where I started. I owe a lot to that company and to Vinny Vandit Kalia, the owner, and
Okay.
Vikas, who was my mentor and the guy who trained me. So
Right.
these guys had given me accommodation for a month, had
Okay.
been very clear that, look, you're a city guy, come do the initial bit, and then we can talk about if you're good in water, if the ocean accepts you and you accept the ocean, we'll see how it goes.
Right.
Uh, so I went with the chill mode that, hey, if not anything, I'll come back and brag about being an advanced diver. And
Right.
I started and I couldn't stop. And 10 months later, I came back to Delhi as a dive master, which is a entry level pro rating.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful first season on the island. And I'm from Delhi, and from a lot of landlocked metro cities that we have in India, suddenly being next to the ocean, it's overwhelming.
Right.
So you can only imagine. I can't put in words the adventures and the ecstatic feeling I went through. Yeah.
Is I remember when I first dived in. I mean, I learned from Rahul, and when I did my open water scuba diving in Havelock, I fell in
Okay.
love with the place so much that I mean, I had only come for 10 days, but I went across Havelock, I think, looking for houses, to just settle. And I was like, I'm not going back to Mumbai. So I completely understand that feeling.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And even though I'm from Bombay, which is a coastal area, I think the waters of Andamans and the beaches are so beautiful that they just attract you. So,
True. And
yeah.
the people. And the people are very beautiful
And
too.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Rahul is
So
a very
how
dear
did you?
friend, and all of us know each other in a small family like network. I
Right.
won't want to paint the picture that everything is utopian. Obviously, it's an industry. We have healthy competition, uh,
Absolutely.
but we all take care of each other whenever
Wonderful.
required. Yeah.
Wonderful. So, how did you go on to becoming a co-founder of Outback Resorts? How did that happen?
Oh, well, all so far all success stories have some failure behind it. So I'll start with the failure.
Sure.
I I became a diving instructor after my first year. When I
Okay.
got back 10 months later as a dive master, uh,
Mhm.
I loved it. So I went back, and the company offered me to become an instructor, and they gave me a great deal, a great place to work. So I moved on, and after 3 years, I was pretty well versed as a scuba diving instructor, but feeling the urge to do more with my self.
Hmm.
Uh, and I should be honest, I also felt that, financially, it's a beautiful industry. It's the lifestyle of a millionaire without the
Hmm.
$1,000,000. Uh, so
Okay.
I started feeling that, yeah, I have the lifestyle in control, but I could use a little bit more of moolah. So I started Wildevibe Adventures, which was an adventure travel company with a very dear friend of mine. And
Okay.
for obvious reasons, we did really well to begin with because we had the energy and the drive. We did not have the structure, so things fizzled out after 2 years, and we had to shut shop. Although we
Right.
weren't in losses, but there were a lot of lessons learned and a lot of good time we had had doing the mountaineering and the scuba diving, and we were doing a lot of adventure sports as one.
Okay.
From those 2 years of experiences, I realized that a brick and mortar business is more stable. I also got the feeling that, if I'm in Andaman and I already know the place, it's remote, it's rural, it's coming up. So it's a good time to invest right now and start something there rather
Hmm.
than try competing in a very popular location like Ladakh or
Hmm.
Manali or
Right.
so on and so forth.
Right. It's
So,
amazing how people
mhm.
not thought about traveling to Andamans yet. It is still the hidden jewel of India. And I think that is why it is not that spoiled as yet.
That is true. That is true. So I eventually ended up meeting a bunch of people who were really good with hospitality,
Okay.
who became partners. We found this beautiful island that I was very familiar with, and we were able to locate a plot. The land dealings and everything went through really well.
Okay.
And we had an eco idea to build the place with recycled plastic collected from the same island.
Okay.
Uh,
So,
and yeah,
no, no, go on,
go ahead.
please.
So we collected about half a million, about say 4-5 lakh bottles from
Wow.
Havelock garbage disposal dumping area, we call it.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
and we were able to use regular YouTube videos to put cement and the bottles together filled with dust. They become rigid like a brick.
Okay.
And we made a 1 square meter wall, let it dry for 3 days, jumped on it, tried to break it. It seemed solid. And after a little bit of architectural input, we realized that we could build the entire property like this. So that's how we did it.
Oh,
We, in fact, added 200 kgs of rubber uh, below our footpath, which is again recycled and picked from the island. And each room of ours has a facade of recycled bottles, just for the fun, for the quirk of it. So yeah, that's the story
wow.
of Outback.
I think that's a fantastic thing. Guys, this is, I think the world needs to become more eco friendly now. And this is one reason that we had also specifically invited Zorawar today because they've done such a wonderful thing at Outback with using so much of recycled material. Uh, Zorawar, tell me, is how can ordinary people at home make life more eco friendly? And do you feel that the hospitality industry should start thinking about such kind of things now and try to build their interiors and their architecture by becoming more eco-friendly, along with obviously becoming more self-sustainable?
Uh, See, absolutely, this argument has been won. It's no longer a discussion whether we need to do this.
Of course.
We need to do this.
Right.
For businesses, organizations, they can do a lot. They can use recycled material, they can do water conservation, they can do waste management. The list goes on. I think what I would like to address, with this platform is individually, there is a lot we can do. Uh,
Right.
Fractional inputs add up to create a big whole. And I I would give you not philosophy, but something very actionable that just be against single-use plastic. Let's start with that because Andaman has done that as a policy. Thanks to
Right.
some friends and people I know, they've really pushed for it. Uh,
Okay.
if all of us at home, no matter where we live, just start avoiding single-use plastic, I think
Hmm.
you're fixing a major part of the problem. That is something you can do
True.
individually. As a household,
Hmm.
you could segregate plastic, send it to recycling units,
Hmm.
use less water. Fresh water is going to be a major crisis, as big as plastic in the next decade. Uh, and as you move up from the individual scale to a household, there is a little bit more you can do. If you come into an organization of 100 employees, 100 people can do a lot together. If you come into big organizations, they can do even more. So, I think no one needs to be overburdened with the idea of cleaning our planet or keeping our surroundings clean. Everyone just needs to do a small bit, and there are plenty
Small.
of us. Uh, yeah,
Absolutely. I think I'd spoken about this even earlier, guys. So, I think it's very crucial now to start with the smaller things. For example, if you're not even, distributing your garbage properly, so the wet garbage and the dry garbage needs to be segregated before you give it out. Do that. These are small things that you can do. In fact, over here where we are at Avabodh, where I am in Panchgani right now, we
mm,
are we are aiming at starting. We have a solar heater as well, so we utilize
wow,
that, and we also want to do rainwater harvesting. So that is our goal now, rainwater harvesting, and we are trying to do these small things. And I think if the hospitality industry can also focus on these things along with the luxury element, and I think if you invest your money even into such things, we are definitely going to start take a few steps towards improving our world. And I think it is our responsibility. We are not the citizens of India, we are the citizens of the world. We are not just citizens, we are human beings at the end of the day. So we need to focus on that. So thank you so much, Zorawar, for sharing the story of
my
Outback
pleasure.
Resorts with us, and how people can become more eco-friendly, and how people can focus on such things. Now, tell me, as a scuba diving instructor, what are your thoughts on conserving the underwater ecosystem?
Oh, well, my thoughts are very strong to begin with. We need to do a lot for the underwater ecosystem because everyone knows the facts. I don't need to repeat cliches. You have no idea of the nature that is submerged.
Absolutely.
The the world's biggest lakes, the tallest mountains, maximum vegetation. I of I'm not an expert in this, but I do know a reasonable bit because I teach people about marine life. So there are close to 240,000 species discovered till date in the world, marine species.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you'll find surprising that this is a fraction of what is actually out there in the ocean. That's the amount of life that breeds. So if we were not judging the value of life by size or dominance on the planet uh, or the placement in the food chain, if we judge the value of
Mm-hmm.
life by just life itself, irrespective of how tiny the creature is or how big the whale shark is, uh, there is so much life under the
Mm-hmm.
ocean, and we have discovered so little of it uh, that if we end up killing it before even discovering it, it'll be beyond sad. Yeah. And
Yeah,
we
very
will be
true.
abused and demeaned by future generations beyond your wildest imagination today. So, for both reasons, for survival and for self-respect, we need to do it for both the
Mm.
reasons. Uh, Beach
Absolutely.
cleanups, dive site cleanups, coral replantation, obviously lobbying with, Seva Education and others. I would collaborate ahead for river pollution and for dumping of waste in the ocean because uh, I see a lot of problem.
Right.
I see a lot of people discussing problems solution which feels overwhelming, or with small solutions that feel they will never actually achieve what the bigger objective is. But I think
True.
everything with the environment needs to be broken down into unit responsibility and distributed to everybody who is affected. So, so Andamans belong to India, and to preserve the ocean there is the responsibility of 1.4 billion people in India. You see, it becomes much easier if 1.4 billion people or 6 billion people contribute than just the 3 lakh, which is the population of Andaman. For 3 lakh people in Andaman to be conscious versus the entire country continuing with pollution, throwing garbage, throwing things in the river, we will never win this fight, because 3 lakh cannot win versus 1.5 billion. So that's how I feel about the ocean, that those who live close to it are doing a lot, but with platforms like yours and with consistent interaction and information, everybody can do something, and it affects the ocean. If you don't throw the plastic out in the rain, it doesn't flow into your drain, it doesn't make it to the river, it doesn't make it to the ocean. I don't find it on a dive site. It's all connected.
True. Absolutely. So guys, I would like to take a minute and make this announcement that in April we had planned ocean cleanup for divers in Tarkarli with Mittal Maurya, who's a scuba diver, and we had to cancel that due to COVID-19. So we promise you that as soon as the situation gets better in January, we are hoping by then the situation will get better. We are aiming at restarting our scuba meetups, where we bring together the scuba, all the scuba divers and all the scuba lovers, and we go together and we do our ocean cleanups. So please stay posted for this. And Zorawar, we would love at Keva to, do something like this with you as well, where we can do this in Andamans. It's also very important. So this is one thing that makes our scuba diving courses different for all the members out there who are listening to this, who are interested in diving. What makes us different is when we plan our scuba diving courses, we make ocean cleanups a compulsory part of it. So you don't just get your open water certificate, but you do a 1-day ocean cleanup compulsorily. So this is,
I think that's brilliant. I've been doing this for 8-9 years, and I've not heard of that as a compulsion. I think PADI and SSI should incorporate that. That's beautiful.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Zorawar. So this is exactly a few things that we are trying to change at Keva. We're trying to implement all these kind of aspects. And so, yes, definitely we'd love to do this with you as well. And I look forward, and I hope that by January, Andamans opens up for divers and we can have our next season. Cross fingers. Wow, I just spoke about Mittal, and Mittal has joined.
Yeah, she's there. Mitzi 8. Mitzi 8 is Mittal. Yeah.
Hi, Mittal. We just spoke about you.
I promise whenever you do your cleanup, you and Mittal, I will certainly do my best to be there. And whenever we do something in Andaman, or whatever you guys need me to do in Andaman to make this a reality and a possibility to continue this successive projects 24/7 and to save our education.
Awesome. Thank you. Fantastic. Okay, so now, guys, before we move on to a few more questions, I just want to say hello to a few people and take some questions. If you all have any questions for Zorawar, please put them here, and I'm sure that he'd love to answer them by the end of this session. We'll just take one or two questions from people. Chetan says hello. Hi Shweta. Hi Azhar. Hi Alicia. Hi Gunjan. Hi Saurav. Hello everyone.
That's nice. I hear a few of my friend names.
Well, of course. Raj Lakshmi has a question for you. Was Outback's sustainable approach as financially viable as it was as a great cause and approach?
Wow. She's a dear friend of mine, and that's a very good question. Thanks, Raj Lakshmi, for that question. It was super sustainable and super viable. I hope I don't sound too complex, but there is a fixed cost to a brick In Andaman, it can cost somewhere around anywhere from 35 to 48 rupees a brick. Now you see, you need if any of you have friends in architecture or others, you'll when you want to build a particular place, you will scale it, you'll design it, and you kind of realize the amount of raw material you require, which involves thousands and thousands of bricks, multiplied by the cost of all those bricks, versus collecting plastic bottles. So I don't think I emphasized enough, but at some point, I hope Seva Education can take a few of our videos or sample photos and maybe put it up just so that we have a continuation of this chat. The walls we have made with recycled plastic
We
do not have a
will.
brick. They are brickless walls.
Okay.
So we, instead of spending money and effort in procuring the raw material and building these walls or doing construction, we have actually saved money by going to the dumping yard of whichever remote area in the world you are in, saying, hey guys, what do you do with your plastic? And their most common answer will be, we burn it, we incinerate it, which is a strict no-no. So that should not be done, obviously. And if you ask them to just hand over all their plastic to you, to not incinerate, trust me, they will find them extremely delighted, because you're saving them a lot of effort, and you're saving the environment by not letting all that be burnt up. So it involves a little bit of creative thinking and collection, but financially, which Lakshmi's question was, it makes a lot of sense. It's super viable. So if anyone is considering this, you must look into it, and you will have no financial constraints. It will only motivate you to do this more.
All right. Thank you so much for your question, and thank you for answering it. The next comment is by Giant Stride 2.0. He says, we discover new species every day, even today. Absolutely. Hi, Usho. Hi. Hi, Yash. Hi. Okay, so Raj Lakshmi is saying, most hotels shun away. So your story can be really inspiring, more to have a sustainable approach. Need more such stories shared. Absolutely. So thank you all for your questions. If you all have any more questions, please note them down and we'll take them in a while. So coming back to
Sure.
to our conversation, how do you think is now, according to you, do you feel that COVID is going to change things, and how do you think Andamans will be ready? How do you think Outback is going to be ready for COVID?
Well, COVID has already changed a lot of things, but what we are doing is the usual sanitation, the buying of the new equipment and the hardware that is going to become a prerequisite to maintain a certain sanitation standard. You can no longer say that, hey, the room is clean. You need processes and machines that do the disinfection and do the sanitization effectively, measurably. So that is something that we will be doing at Outback, and everyone else will also be doing. What we are also looking at Outback is we have 8 rooms. We are not a property with hundreds of rooms. So, we
Right.
are not a densely packed place. Our F&B and our spatial distance is reasonably good. And we are trying to market the idea that instead of having a crowd that does just 2 days, 3 days of in and out, well, even they are welcome because we have the distancing. We're trying to do some kind of a collaborative working space, work from home, remote working, where a fixed set of people with fixed set of distancing and norms are able to live in a very serene environment, knowing that they're away from the virus, they have the right sanitation standards, and part of a commercial hosh posh or a big space. So we're trying to carve our niche out of it.
Okay.
I can't say for sure what will happen. In the tourism industry across the world, and also Andaman, because we are a remote island, we have no other bread and butter. Tourism is the primary bread and butter. You have tourist destinations connected to mainland, that do have few other industries, maybe a certain degree of agriculture or industry, but we have none of that. So we will be doing a lot creatively by inviting people into a safe zone, and scientifically we will be keeping it sanitized and clean. Yeah.
Right. So we have obviously we all know that COVID hasn't been kind to us human beings. But I want to ask you a question which is causing a slight debate across the world, and I want to indulge in this question with you because I want to get your
Please.
intake as a scuba diving instructor and somebody who is so close to conservation. Do you think that COVID has been a good thing for the environment, because all of us human beings are in our homes and suddenly nature has its chance to breathe? Do you think it has been good even for, uh, I mean, it has been good in terms of air pollution, in terms of reducing air pollution and all kinds of pollution? So has that, do you think that has played a positive effect on our environment? And do you think that after COVID, we should
Certainly. See, this is a
be
very
more
sensitive
cautious
subject.
to remain true?
Uh, Very sensitive subject because I will say to you what I've said to all friends with
Uh, Zoravar, we're losing you again.
everything has healed.
Mm-hmm. Of course,
So I'll
of course.
just repeat that.
Yeah,
Yeah, minus the loss of life and the suffering of the old and young people, everything in nature is healed. In the entire food
absolutely
chain, only human beings are locked at home.
true. So, so should we?
Sorry, you were saying?
Okay. So now, after, uh, I'm sorry, Zoravar, we've lost you again. Yes, you're audible now.
I'm here.
Excellent.
Okay.
So I was saying that, so if it has healed nature in a way, then I think it is so important to realize this aspect that once we go back out there, we need to be more careful about what we're going to do to our nature. Again, let's not, once things open up more, uh, we need to be more careful now in the future for our environment. Would you agree with me on this?
Absolutely. My biggest worry is that we are talking about it a lot, and a lot of people are concerned and feel the change. You are also addressing the change that has happened because human beings are locked at home. My worry is that when all this ends, will we uh, will we show our naivety by going back to everything as it was, or will we truly find a change? And that is something that I would leave as a question mark because you know, short, but it was
Absolutely. Right. Guys, are we audible?
yeah, I can hear you so far.
Guys, are we
Well,
audible?
someone putting a thumbs up would help.
Can you give me a thumbs up if we are? Yes, that would be great. Okay, so Zoravar, I can hear you now. Uh, so thank you for addressing that question. And I hope that situations get better in Andamans and we are able to go back to Andaman soon, and we're able to dive and we're able to, do our duty towards being a good human being again. I think there's a network issue. And again, Zoravar, can you hear me? I think we've lost Zoravar again. But guys, thank you so much for being here for today's session. I hope today's session was very informative and you all were able to get a lot of information. Yeah, Zoravar is back. Hi, Zoravar. Sorry, we lost you there for a minute. So thank you so much for what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the session for today, and I'm going to invite Zoravar once again sometime the coming week to join us once again and talk a little bit more about this. So thank you so much. Zoravar, thank you so much for being a part of today's session and giving us so much of your knowledge, sharing your knowledge with us. Mm. Sorry, I think Tim. All right, so Zoravar's left the conversation. I think he had some network issues, but once again, I want to thank Zoravar for joining us today here and giving us so much of the knowledge that he shared with us. And I think there's something that we really need to take back with us about how and are living more eco-friendly. So thank you very much, all of you all, for being a part of today's conversation. And I hope you enjoyed today's session. You can check out Outback Resorts and please stay tuned at Keva Education and follow us for more such amazing live sessions. We keep inviting people who will um, share their knowledge with you. And if you have a certain expertise and you would like to share your knowledge with the rest of the world, please join us. We always keep looking to grow our Keva community. So thank you so much. Thank you, Zoravar. Zoravar says, guys, it was a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, Zoravar. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep the world safe.